I saw that you were watching Inside Out.
Yeah,
Was that your first time?
I've seen it before actually, but yeah, I decided to watch it again since the second one is coming out.
Thoughts?
I didn't even finish
And
it
there's a
too.
wrong answer. Oh my god.
No, I fell asleep. But like Joy was being so fucking annoying. Like, can you leave sadness alone? Like, to be fair, sadness was touching stuff. Sure, she should not have been touching up and down. But then I feel like because Riley was not allowed. Is her name Riley?
Yeah.
Okay, she wasn't allowed to feel sadness, right? She was just repressing all the sadness, and everything was just joy, 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 joy. And then, you know, she now descended into turmoil.
Maybe you should finish the film then.
Maybe.
I can't make because like maybe you are talking about how the film ends. Maybe
I'm screaming.
I love Inside
But
Out.
I know when I first watched it, I cried. I remember that.
Where are you? Have you met Bing Bong?
Which one is Bing Bong?
Riley's imaginary friend.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So where I am is the first one they tried to get to failed. Then they went to the second one. Um the clown, the clown thing, one of her
Mm,
nightmares or something. The clown, they released the clown, and then I think they got on the train, and then the train got derailed off the tracks, and that's where I
Again,
stopped. Yeah.
I want to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I think I want to
Mm.
rewatch it before I watch the new one. Yeah, Inside Out might be
The
my
new
favorite Pixar.
the new one is this Friday, right?
Yeah. Well, by the time
I'm
that people are
actually
listening to this, it's already be out. But yes,
Yeah, I'm actually going to see it in theater because I think I'm near a theater.
sounds fun. Okay. Yeah, I already talk about the opposite of Inside Out.
Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And
Hey,
welcome to our
hotties.
own little progressive jihad. Why are you interrupting my intro? Huh? Uh the welcome to our own little progressive jihad. Today we're getting to episode 4 and the halfway point of the boys season 4. And joining me, she wasn't here last time, but she's here making her the boys debut. Guys, she's a defender of arrogant white feminism.
Me.
It's Chia Gozim. How are you? Welcome.
You have to retract that intro. What do
Eh,
you mean?
I feel like standing by it.
Well, hey, hotties. How are we all doing today?
You don't get to just assume that my listeners are hotties.
No, but they are
How do you know? Do
because
you know
I'm a
them?
listener. So I'm a hottie. So therefore,
Okay.
I feel like minds, think alike. Great minds think alike, so they must all be hotties. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay. Much better than last week. Yeah.
Okay? Do you want to go into like you usually just bring up? Do you want to go into why you were not okay last week? Like you do know you're being recorded, right?
Yeah. Is this like what show was I watching? No, Chinasa's episode with
Lai Wasabi.
yeah, about being self-aware during the
Oh, that was very funny. Shout out Chinasa. Shout out to Is This It Taken.
Yeah.
Quickly
That's what this reminded me of.
before we go into the boys, if it's your
Mm.
first time,
Who's first
we
time?
like we said, we covered last week's 3 episode premiere of the boys, so you can check that out. House of the Dragon season 2. Our episode on the premiere is out as well. ABB and Family covering that. They did whole season 1. They are book readers, so just check all of that out. Bridgerton part 2 should be out later this week or maybe next week. The Bear is coming out next week, and we'll figure out how we're going to cover that. So obviously, it's going to be quite intense next few months. Industry is back in August 11th. So yeah, subscribe to the platform wherever you're listening. Be just ready for all the onslaught of content of our shows that are coming. So okay, the boys. Let's get into it because we're running against time. Episode 4, titled "Wisdom of the Ages," is written by Jeff All and directed by Philip Sigrichia. Um, You were not here last week, so I guess just give me your general thought. We're halfway through the season now. What are your general
Mhm.
thoughts on the season so far?
So, yeah, a lot has gone on. I feel like a lot of people are having very introspective, I need to get to the source of my trauma or I'm feeling bad about my past kind of
Mm-hmm.
vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting to see like people go through that. Obviously the visual effects is always, I feel like the listeners know by now, if not from Invincible, then from, I don't know, maybe other shows. I really enjoy visual effects. The graphicer, the betterer. So yeah, we've seen some interesting deaths this season as well. Some very grim things. Oh my god. When was it this episode? When
Mm,
Ryan, oh yeah, it was. Let me just relax. Okay, so we'll get into
mm.
that later.
No, what were
But
you gonna? No, I was gonna because I thought what were you gonna talk about? Ryan.
yeah, when he was playing the video game.
Oh, and he killed. Oh, in the video game. Oh, I thought you were talking about something else, which I guess we'll get into. Um. Okay, yeah. So it's a good point you made quickly because I realized that a lot of the characters, especially the boys, as in members of the boys team, where it's kind
Mm,
of seeing like the show is showing us kind of some of the truly heinous things that they've done in their past. Like obviously with
mm-hmm.
Frenchie, um, this episode we get kind of what Kimiko did to that girl, which is basically
Yeah,
sex trafficking, or maybe
yeah.
not sex, maybe child trafficking
Child traffic,
for
yeah.
violence. And you kind of you realize the kind of active role that Kimiko played, for example, and it kind of shows them that they're not necessarily these are not anti-hero acts, these are just pure villainy acts, right?
Mm.
We see that Annie, who is ostensibly the most pure character on the show, like blinded
That
someone,
mother of
and we
three
just
kids or
never knew
something.
about this, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of the things where it's kind of it's really really painting these characters with a much darker brush. Like it's like, oh, these characters are not obviously what she did to Firecracker, which we didn't talk about in during the premiere episode, but like yeah,
Oh
that was
yeah, like the
pretty shitty
bullying.
as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
kind of shows like just I mean obviously she was younger and everything, but it shows
Mm.
just that these characters are not the I mean they were never were they were never like the bastions of morality, but like it's like yeah they've done some truly terrible things
Mm-hmm.
in their past in their recent past. So should we start? So I want to start with Firecracker and Annie because I
Okay.
feel like to me that was the more important. I mean people might argue maybe it was Homelander, but to me that was the more engaging storyline,
Mm.
the Annie and Firecracker thing. And I remember when, I mean, just quickly for a recap, for anyone who doesn't know, Sage and Vought have kind of put this 6 hour telethon just outside the Starlight home, hosted by Firecracker, who we know has a vendetta against Annie. And there are some surprises, right? That she just basically wants the character assassinate
Yeah.
Annie, and this is for her vengeance, but this is part of Sage's grand plan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember when Butcher and go up to her and they're like, "We have this video or this picture of you basically fucking a 15-year-old." And in my head, I was like, I'll be very disappointed if this is the thing that gets up because like she can't spin this. Like we've seen people in the real world
Yeah,
spin
that's true.
way worse, especially for this space, like the
Mm.
evangelical Christian, white Christian base. I was like, this would be weird. And then, so when she spelled like, okay, at least the show is on that wavelength because like, yeah,
Mm.
it's she can't spin this. They've spun way worse things in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of that whole thing? And I guess Firecracker's vendetta.
I guess first of all, with that they're the tweet that they wanted to release.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out that it was for like pedophilia, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you have been on
Oh yeah.
Starfire's ass for pedo, and you
Starlight,
yourself.
yeah.
All right, sorry, Starlight. You yourself are an actual
Starfire
pedo.
is their child. Firecracker and Starlight's baby. I'm sorry, just continue.
But I was just like, I can't believe you've actually been on her. While you
Mm-hmm.
yourself, you actually have been like caught with a 15. She was like, what, 28 and
28.
15?
Yeah.
Disgusting, diabolical,
Well, I
ill.
mean, you say disgusting. Some people say no. I'm sorry. Let's go. Let's
Are you
continue.
trying
Let's
to be
continue.
devil's advocate?
I'm joking. Let's go, please.
Uh,
Continue.
yeah,
Continue. Sorry.
so I was just like, yeah. And then when she now like just sent it, I was like, yeah, fear women, yeah, fear them. Because
Say
and
it.
my thing is like
Not everybody is watching on YouTube. Say what you want to say. Fear what women? Fear blank women? Fear what?
fear
Say it.
black women. Because my thing as well. So she and I feel like a lot of people, like just touching back into the real world, something that really annoys me. people do very like diabolical things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be like, oh, like I went to church and I've changed and I've
Mm-hmm.
repented, whatever, which is true, which is valid. But like, you still have to like own up to all the nonsense you did. Like, okay, you found salvation, good for you, whatever. But like, you still have to pay for
Mm-hmm.
the nonsense you did. So that was really just like very real worldy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, Firecracker hates Starlight
Mm-hmm.
the way Kendrick hates Drake
Yeah.
because this vendetta, I was just like, yeah, she wants to annihilate her. Like, she wants
Mm-hmm.
nothing to be left. This is pure, unadulterated hatred. And I was like, you know what, fair. I feel like we don't really hate the way we used to.
That's
So
fair.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that this resurgence of genuine hatred is
On
coming back.
our
Yeah.
what episode was it? I think it was either our episode with TMT and Ayo talking about just life, or the episode with Ayo talking about recommendations, where Ayo just was
Mm.
like, we need to hate more and we need to be genuine haters. Um, but yeah, speaking of hating and Firecrackers hating, she comes with that like bombshell at the end. And you just rewatched season 3. I
Yeah.
didn't. Did we know about the abortion? Does that happen in season? Or
I don't recall. No, that was news to me.
okay, so I guess we, because unless, I mean, again, if you're listening, please feel free to fact check. I could not remember knowing it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is this going to be like some subplot about Huey going to be like, oh, you did that and I didn't know, but obviously he
Mm.
knew.
Yeah, same. That's what I thought initially as well.
Yeah.
And I was just like, when he was like, "How could they do this to us? This was something private between you and me." I was like, Huey, can you focus? Can you focus on the issue I had, which is Starlight, and how this is such a
Mm-hmm.
like violation for her? And I felt really bad when she was saying that. I mean, obviously, it was a very hard decision for her, and then she was like, every time now, it's going to just constantly remind her about that choice she made. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was quite sad. I really
Yeah.
felt for
I
her in
don't. I
that
mean,
moment.
again, please, if anyone remembers, if this was mentioned in earlier seasons, please let us know in the comments or on Twitter. I just don't remember knowing this, but yeah, and then
Mm,
that triggers Annie into like,
yeah,
yeah.
understandably, because I feel like sometimes you just need to show people that you're actually mad.
So,
Like,
well,
you can't always be the good guy.
uh, yeah, but that's walking into Sage's plan. And I mentioned, for anyone
Yeah.
who's listened or who hasn't listened, I mentioned on last week's premiere episode that I really hate the fact that Sage is a black woman
Yes.
because I hate her so much. I mean, it's smart that she's a black woman. If she was a white woman, it'd be
Yeah.
too easy. But
Yeah.
like, because this plan is so good, it's so smart.
It's
Like
so good.
she knew to trigger Annie. She knew what Annie would do.
Yeah.
She knew, like, there's that very like in your face shot of when all the phones are switching location, where you just see how many people are actually watching this, and it's like, this is obviously going to destroy her reputation. And we
For
discussed it last
sure.
week. It's mostly for Homelander, but really it's for everybody. Like, popularity is a currency in this world.
Currency.
Like,
Hmm.
so actually, in this case, we see it clearly because her declining popularity affects the bill, a very, very important bill, that which is
Yeah.
basically all they're fighting for. So yeah, it's a really, really smart plan. Like, Sage knew what I was gonna do. Like, she was like, okay, if the blinding thing doesn't work, then there's no way that plus the abortion thing will have to, like, will have to trigger Annie, and it's just, yeah, I just like, it's a really good plan. Sage right now is on a she's on a heater. Speaking of Sage, quickly. So obviously we have a section where we do like favorite lines or like most fucked up things that the boys has done. I don't even have, you can, if you have any you can bring up later in the episode, but I don't have any because I only have one, and I was like, after this I'm not gonna put anything else. That I think was too much for me. That's like, I can watch all the guts fly out, I can, but I had that because again we theorized, well, last week, we're like, what was that thing for? We're like, we just saw it bloody, we didn't actually know. Obviously now
Mm,
that she's basically self-lobotomizing.
yeah.
But yeah, when the deep is doing it and like the camera stays on the eye, I was like, this is
Mm,
a lot for me.
it
This is a
was
lot
pretty
for me.
grim.
Yeah, any thoughts on like the whole anything? Obviously we've discussed like, yeah, it's her rage was expected, but it just works
Yeah.
into Sage's plan.
I mean, yeah, it's quite, I would say it's quite unfortunate, because it was being filmed and
Mm-hmm.
she like properly lost it. Like, she beat the fuck out of
Yeah.
Firecracker.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. Like, some people need to get their ass beat. because they just be moving crazy.
For white on white violence.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
I was screaming. So yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for Annie. I think it's just a lot. But
Yeah, lots of people at the end of the
yeah.
episode are in a really, really down bad place. There's
Yeah.
Annie,
Frenchie.
Frenchie, Chemical, Huey, but Huey now is just more confused than anything, but we'll get to Huey.
Mm,
Um, whoever thought that the day would come where MM will be the happiest member of the boys?
right?
Um, before we go into Homelander, actually,
Mm.
your thoughts on the human centipede scene from episode 2?
I was just like, so this is my thing, yeah. So when they were at the door about to
Mm-hmm.
enter, I
Mm-hmm.
knew we're about to see some shit. But I didn't even know like to what extent
Yeah.
of shittery we're about to see. And then once they just opened the door, I just saw
Shittery.
him and his clones just going at it. I said,
So you would appreciate this because I told Asagali on last week's episode that when I saw them going to the door, the first thing that came to my mind was duplicate. And
"Oh
how every time she
yeah,
comes to the bathroom, there's multiple of her.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then, but like, I think we can't, it's safe to assume that she wasn't doing what Splitter was doing
yeah."
in the
She
bathroom. But
was
yeah,
having a good time with Mister. What is that? His name?
what Immortal.
Yeah,
And then Rex before in season 1. But yeah, um, yeah, that scene was a
yeah.
lot.
That was well.
That
I
scene
was
was a
just
lot.
like,
We had an argument on the episode of whether, because I said, if somebody had that power in real life, 8 out of 10 of them would do the same thing that he did. Bolu disagrees, or Segali agrees. You disagree that if blank men had that power,
"Oh men,"
okay, I mean,
specifically.
it's probably women too. Are you trying to say that women are less devious than men?
No, I wouldn't say that. Maybe they're not as like vocal about it, but
Yeah.
I just like for me, that particular I feel like there are other more exciting things you could do, you know? But that
Well,
whole chain, I no.
don't worry. So please sign up to Popcorn for Dinner After Dark, in which we'll extensively discuss the merits and demerits of the human centipede as eaten.
Position
Yeah.
if you were clone.
Um, but obviously make sure to take all health practices so you avoid pink eyes. Uh, let's talk about Homelander and
Yeah.
Homelander's self therapy.
Mhm.
This episode, he spends the episode going back to his past,
Yeah.
and oh yeah, this episode actually just took place over the course of one day when you think about
Mm.
it.
A lot happened, sure.
Yeah, so Homelander goes back to try and, I guess, attack his original trauma and
Mhm.
try and in his in his fucked up brain and head, it's like if he kills people that hurt him, then that hurt will go away. Obviously, we know that's not true, and I would like to
Mhm.
see how he realizes that that's not true. But yeah, what did you think of Homelander's journey into his original trauma?
I was like to be fair, right? Once he came up and he was holding the cake,
Oh yeah, you know they all died.
I was like, this is the last supper for real. Like ain't nobody leaving here
Yeah,
intact.
yeah. It felt like a horror movie in which you just kind of the horror was the waiting. Like
Yeah,
you're
the waiting for the
waiting
pin
for
to
like
drop.
because you know they're gonna die. It's like how are they
Yeah,
gonna die and when are they going to die?
exactly. And just as he was like recounting, I mean, to be fair, his past was, I mean, not that I'm sympathizing with
No, you can
that man,
if you like
but
sympathizing with evil white men, that's fine. You can do it. This is a
no,
safe
but
space. It's
like,
just you and I.
no, but to be fair, like he did experience some very messed up things. I
Hmm.
think it also ties into the fact that a lot of time, just like in life in general, when people like bullies, not bulliers, bullies. Look, it's been a long day.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So bullies, they don't
Uh-huh.
really remember a lot of like the messed up things that they do, but it's the
Mhm.
people that they impact that like it really, really sticks with them. So yeah, just having him like recount the different things that affected him, like how uh the guy was playing NBA baskets
Paper basketball, yeah.
and just turning up the heat on him. To be fair, tough. And then the other guy, his only few moments of peace and solitude, when he just wanted to just, let
Just
one
what?
off, just have a good time, relieve the
Mm-hmm.
stress and pressure that he
Mm-hmm.
was going through. This guy caught him and then started calling him Squirt. And I'm just like, bro, that's long. I even think that Mr. Squirt guy, he got off easy. I was just
What?
like, he turned the other guy into Kilishi. Like, what are you talking about right now? All he
Yes,
had to do was whip it out and just.
but
And the thing is,
that guy was more active in Homelander's torture. This guy literally just like joked about something once. He literally said that you were nice to him most of the time.
hmm
This guy made one, okay, it wasn't one joke, but like he made a joke about one thing,
hmm
but he still died. They both still died in the end.
Oh, that's true. I forgot he died.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like no, but I feel like Homelander might have let him go
oh, I
if
think
he
we're gonna let him
actually
go. I
did
think we're
it.
gonna let him go.
If he actually did it, but
Which is why my take on this is that his name is Marty. He isn't
mm,
hashtag real man. He isn't hashtag, well, because people are looking. You can't. Yeah, now come on. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah, my thing is
For your
well, like
life?
I feel like the other people they were even turning away because they were just like, I'm not trying to see this.
If
So
you tell me you can't perform for your oh, you're mad.
no,
It's
like
literally your life.
in my notes was like, you better whip that thing out and get to
It was like,
get
oh
to it
my god,
because
Anthony Starr's laughing. Homelander's laughing that scene when Marty spits in his hand,
yeah.
and then the way he laughs, he's like, yeah, yes, put some more spit. That would do the job.
Nah, nah.
But yeah, Marty, I'm not saying you deserve to die, but you could have done better. You should have, like,
Yeah,
come
you
on.
could have definitely survived
Come
that.
on,
If
like you
that
said, close your eyes, think about something. Just you
as
can
in
like. There's no. Come on, bro,
yeah,
bro. Come on.
bro.
I'm just saying. Like I was a bit disappointed. I was like, come on,
Yeah,
this is for your life because you know he's gonna
like
kill you. Um,
literally.
no, but the important thing here is when the director comes and she talks about how Vought
They
intentionally
they programmed
brought
him this way.
exactly like we've talked about how his insecurities, like his real kryptonite, and how he's so and um beholden to public perception and but
Mm,
now she said like it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't just like the writers being like, let's give this guy something to fear. It was like, no, Vought were like, we can't physically control you, so the only way to do it is to psychologically enslave you and
mhm,
basically break you down. It's like, is that thing of, I'm probably going to butcher this story or metaphor, but is that thing of where you chain a cub, like a cub, a baby elephant, anything, and like they grow up being changed. So even when they can break the chains, they think they can't because like
yeah,
they are used
how
to not
they've
being able
been
to break
trained.
it. So it's like he was just mentally broken, or to the point where like, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, very smart from Vought, because like if you can't physically
Mhm.
control him, emotionally and mentally torturing him is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, and she
He
said it as
claims
well because she
mhm,
was like, you could have literally
whenever you wanted.
actually broken out to any point, but you were just trying to please us, etc., etc. So
Yeah, I mean, he claims that he's free of that now. He's not
mm.
human, and he's going to raise Ryan to not be human or care about those things. I guess we'll kind of see how that goes.
No, but he's
Um,
capping because it was the same episode where like was it this episode when Ryan went to go meet Butler and then he was
no,
like,
that was
"Why
last.
am
That
I?"
was
Oh, that
episode
last
3.
episode. Oh,
Yeah, that
why
was
am I
what
not
triggered
enough
him
for
to
you?
go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was
that's
what.
true. That's true. But I think he's capping. I don't think because he killed a bunch of people, but like he do be killing people.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's really like
I
was
guess to him,
cathartic
it's
for
the
him.
people he's killing. Like, what do those people signify? What do they mean? Who are
Mm,
they? I mean, I think he thinks he's cured.
yeah,
He's cured. I don't think he is. I mean, that
yeah, I
smile at the
definitely
end is
don't think he
clearly
is.
him feeling like this weight is off his shoulders or whatever.
Yeah,
But hate to break it to you, buddy. Like you're probably. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how he is. Definitely gonna have. I think he's gonna be a bit more unhinged for the next few episodes because he
I've
thinks
been
he's free.
like throughout this entire season, I've been so like whenever he's on screen, I've been so on edge because
Mhm.
he's very you can tell he's extremely agitated.
Yeah.
Like he keeps on either wincing or like glaring or just like holding himself really tightly. Like you can tell this is someone who is quite literally like on the edge of a very serious meltdown
Hmm.
breakdown. And I feel like a lot of people, I think he's going to lose it very soon. Before the end of this season, I feel like he's going to lose it and kill like a lot of people,
Yeah.
like a lot of people at a go.
Mm.
So yeah,
Um, yeah, we
so
should mention that this is the first episode we're recorded since it's been announced that season 5 is going to be the final season. We kind of theorized
mhm,
whether they will end with 5 or 6 last week, but yeah, season 5 is going to be the final season. So you assume that they'll probably start laying the works for the end game over the next 3 episodes.
mhm.
Um, okay, let's talk about the boys. Who do you want to start with? Butcher, Frenchie, or Huey?
Um, we can start with we can go with Butcher.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Butcher might have powers.
I guess so because how did he escape
Yeah,
from that guy in the trailer?
he's also like yeah, because he's also losing time and like it looks like his
Yeah.
powers may be quite intense.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we don't really we can see that he's deteriorating quite a bit, both like especially physically. I mean, you can even shout out to makeup because you can see it on his face. Like
Yeah, even
you
his
can,
eyes were a bit reddish, like
yeah, and Carl Open's acting as well. Like the way he tries to probably put on the front when he's talking to some people and everything. But like you can see
mm,
that this is a man that is like yeah. Um. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. We know he's been what they call it. He's been seeing visions of Becca.
yeah.
But now, yeah, it looks like he might have powers. I guess we'll know more about that. Oh, actually, no, he does confirm this episode that he took V a few months ago. I think said 4 months ago,
Mm,
in the hope that it would kind of cure him. But
yeah, that's
um,
not the case.
yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll know more about him as or his thing as the episodes go. Okay. Um, Huey, Frenchie.
So, I guess we can do Frenchie. He's
Mm-hmm.
going through his whole like tormented arc because of
His
him realizing that
actions.
he yeah, he realized that he like killed his homeboy's family. So really feeling turned up about it.
No, but he knew. So that's I think he knew
Well,
before he
yeah,
even
yeah, I
got
knew.
before he
But I
got
guess
involved with him.
it's more so it's really eating him up
Yeah.
more, I guess. He's feeling more guilty
Mm-hmm.
going to the job high with Kimiko at risk. I'm like, sir, you need to
Mm-hmm.
focus. But yeah.
I love the way Colin reacted because it's the exact way you should react in that situation. Like a lot of times in stories like this, you see the guy like begin to well up and he will storm out or
Mm,
something, or he will shout. But you should 100% attack the guy and almost kill
yeah, you
him.
need to throw those hands. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you should 100% fight him. And like, yeah, it's just it's a really fucked up situation. Because not only are you the one that killed my family, but like fuck, like quite literally, I was just fucking you. Like it's like
Yeah.
you knew all of this and you still
Mm.
came into my
It's
life and
very
stayed in
like
my life.
twisted.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so like we said earlier, French is another one who is like at depths of despair. Is down
Mm.
bad, is really, really, really down bad in.
Yeah.
And then Huey tried to get
Man.
some V
For his
to
dad.
give his dad. I mean, I knew his dad was not dying because you don't get Simon Pegg to just be an unconscious patient for 3 episodes and then he dies. That's not how that's just not how acting works. So I knew he wasn't gonna die. Um yeah, but I mean I guess the consensus there is that his mom steals his V from his jacket and gives it to his dad.
Mm.
Right? Is
I
that how
guess
you
so.
read that scene?
Well, in my notes, I actually wrote like, "How did she get V?" But that has to be like the only
Yeah,
sensible
'cause I
way,
think he
right?
takes off his
Because
jacket when he goes to get the coffee.
okay,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
maybe she knew there was V in his yeah, yeah, but
yeah.
so and then she puts it in his thing.
Mm.
So Simon Pegg
So
might have powers, which
yeah.
fun fact for anyone who probably doesn't know this, but Simon Pegg was kind of like the inspiration for Huey in the comics, at least the look.
Oh,
Yeah, so
really?
that's kind of why like he's playing the dad here.
That's
Yeah.
so
So the
interesting.
look of Huey in the comics was based off Simon Pegg. So
Hmm. It was.
um
I guess this episode was interesting as well in the sense that so Huey actually got some insight into like his mom and like the struggles that she had and why
mhm,
she eventually had to go.
that was
And I
episode 3,
guess
but yeah.
oh, what's
It's
wrong with
fine.
me?
You have everything jumbled up.
Ah, okay, never mind.
No, no, no. Say what you want to say. You were not here last week. Say what you want to say.
No, it's just like that's actually so funny. No, it's just that whole like you never really know what people are going
Oh
through.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and how
Especially if
like
you're a child and like
yeah.
to you, your parents are like perfect and not going through
Mm,
anything. I mean, whether it's an excuse, that's a different. Oh, I guess she wasn't saying as an excuse, but like
yeah.
whether it's a justifiable explanation is a different discussion, I
Mm,
guess. But it's understandable.
yeah.
But it
She should have
doesn't.
just communicated.
Yeah, it doesn't. I guess maybe he doesn't understand. He won't understand, but it doesn't invalidate the 20+ years
Yeah, because
that
she could have gotten help
he's
and then come back.
exactly 20+ years
Yeah.
that he's lived with that knowledge.
Mm,
Um, Chemical, as we mentioned earlier, like I think hers is kind of straightforward. Yeah, she's just like fuck. Um, like I guess again, it's like I says, everybody just being confronted with the I'm a shit person
mm-hmm.
like facts, right? And it's like
Yeah.
fuck, I did this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and obviously
Yeah.
this girl is not the only person she did this to.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you either fight or you die, which is something she tells Huey earlier in the episode. So, but yeah, yeah, just another thing. It was like Kimiko has been this kind of quiet, tortured person for 3 seasons, and now you're like, oh, yeah, she's that. That's not invalidating her trauma, but at the same time, like she um was part of the people that was bringing in people. Okay, we are back, and somehow someone has flown in to join us. You guys remember from last week, but yeah, Bully's back here on the pod. Talk to yeah. What we're gonna do is just because of time. Obviously, we're gonna continue the conversation, and then I'll probably just discuss with Bulu just kind of his thoughts on the episode as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, just quickly, I guess, Victoria, do you have any final thoughts before you check out because you have a life to live?
I'm screaming. Yeah, no, I was gonna say also, so let me just check my notes. Right. So obviously, very shocking. Sage and the Deep, their little fling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the fact that she has to like she was basically telling him I need to get this like lobotomy for us to
I can't believe you brought this back up when I told you how much this scene traumatized me.
I know, but I just need to get it off. So she basically had to get a lobotomy
Mm-hmm.
to, actually do stuff with him. And I
What?
just
Just
feel
say it
like
like that. You
what
make it seem like she had to turn off her brain to
no,
find
but
him attractive.
that's literally she was like, "You repulse me" or something. I forgot the bar that she said, but she literally had to get him to lobotomize.
No, but she's getting the lobotomy so just for herself, so she can
Yeah,
like
so that she can be relaxed enough to actually accept that she wants to do stuff with
this
this
is. I'm not going to be
diabolical.
the deep defender. That's fine. The way you phrase it is just a bit insane. But okay, continue.
And it was so funny because he was like, "I'm down for like a lot, but dot dot dot." And then she now
Mm-hmm.
told him, "If you do this, then we can, engage in other activities." And I just
What
feel like
activities?
the activities that they engaged in now.
What activities? What did she say? Just to remind our audience
I
and
actually don't
me.
remember how exactly she phrased it, so I don't want to say it incorrectly.
What do you mean? Do you remember how exactly how she said
No, like
it?
if I said it, I don't want to say it exactly how she
Okay,
said
I'll
it
type it for you,
because it
and
was
then you
so
can
funny.
see
Okay,
it.
are you gonna text it to me?
I'm typing it in the chat.
Do we have a chat here? Let me see. Okay, okay, I see you typing. Why is this in your like mental memory bank?
Because he just like me for real.
Oh.
Okay, so say that.
And then she was like, yeah, she was like, you can ass fuck me while watching the Kim and Ray J video. And,
We have our sound bite. I can't believe you're actually going to say those words.
you're actually not serious. And I just feel like she really took the whole I want to feel it in my brain to a
Jesus
new
Christ.
level. To a new level. So yeah, and I just feel like it's also this whole scenario is also relatable for a lot of people because sometimes when you deal with some individuals and you're thinking back and you're like, how did I get here? Why did I do this? So I just feel like the viewers are really gonna,
So you're blame. Okay. Anyways,
yeah.
sure. Okay, fine. I'm not even going to touch that. That's good. Okay. Anything else?
I think earlier you said about the liners, one-liners from the
Mm-hmm.
episode or something, right? For me, it has to be, I mean, apart from my homegirl Sage, but also Homelander when he was talking to, is it Marty?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "You get hard right now, or I'm gonna laser your dick off." Crying, laughing, throwing up,
And he
hilarious.
stood up business.
And he stood on business. I think that's the
Um,
thing as well. We need to be standing on business. Like when
well,
people show you they're mad, you have to show them you're madder.
you don't stand on business if you threaten to laser someone's dick off. Like at that point, we can probably change our
Believe you,
minds.
right? Oh,
Um, okay, so Bulu, 10,000 feet view. You've watched this episode. We're halfway through the season. What? Because we've kind of touched on those lots of things of the episode. But like, what jumped out at you? What do you want to talk about? What like? What you like? This needs to be discussed either positively or negatively. Because like you said, you are kind of the most tentative out of us going into this season.
Yeah, I'm still a
And since
bit.
we last sorry, but since we last spoke, it's been confirmed that obviously next season is the final season. So.
Yeah, I do like that the next season is the final season. I don't know. I felt like the way the boys was, it was always going to be a. I always felt like we can maybe like my Twitter or like previous episodes. I always felt like this was a maximum 5, 6
Mm-hmm.
for it to like be really good for me. Because I always feel like it would be a 5, 6 season type of show.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like uh, number once it started getting to like in my head mentally, I was like, 7, 8. Like as much as I liked the first few seasons, I was like, man, I think by then I'll be like, oh, completely over it. Like they will have to like really impress me, like the writing what they came up with. But I'm like, okay, we started this show to kill off Homelander essentially, and like
Mm-hmm.
taking 7. I know it's like a saga and everything, but like get rid of this guy. And so far, this season is probably still my like I still like it, but I think so far, I don't know. I felt like the addition of Soldier Boy last season really revitalized the show for me. I felt like it really brought some personally for me. Like so far, I think it's good, but I feel it's so far my most like most seasons before were like 8.5 to like 10s for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
so far, this is like a pretty strong 8. Like I don't hate it, but I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm kind of like the show finally starting to feel like it's starting to spin on its wheel a bit. This whole so how I feel about everyone, I guess I'm in the okay space. I like I said previously, this French's arc is really starting to get on my nerves for some reason. I don't know why this entire thing seems to be. I don't know why it gets on my nerves so much. This entire Frenchie saga.
Yeah, why does it get on your nerves so
I
much? Like,
don't know this
is it
arc.
the interracial of it?
No, no, no,
Say your
no,
truth. Speak your
no,
truth.
no, no. Oh God, no. I just think it's a very uninteresting element. So I think he's. I feel. I don't know. Like I said before, I feel like everything kind of like. I think everybody's arc kind of used to directly connect to the 7, and I feel like I've kind of seen friendship beat himself over being like what he used to be and stuff like that. I felt like
Have we? Have we seen that before?
I
Like
think
in this way?
well, he's felt guilt over like his past failures and like who he used to be. Like we've seen it before, like with Lamplight, him failing to protect. Like obviously, the guilt over that one is not quite as deep as this one. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I really care at this point. I'm like, skip to the good part. Like, let me see, like, what else going on with Homelander and I think what I think now is now missing for me is that this is the first season where we don't see Homelander and Butcher play off each other as well. And I think that might be why I'm trying to figure out why I think I missed like the Homelander Butcher dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I think
that's fair.
I'm starting to notice that because anytime they hit on screen, it was electric.
No, but okay, I'm thinking about it now. I don't think we usually get. I think it's usually paced the same way. You get Homelander and Butcher at the beginning, maybe one in the middle, and then one at the end. You don't usually get them like episode after episode.
mm.
Yeah, but like
They treat it like how you treat most think heats, right? Pacino and De Niro. Like, you get one
yeah,
in the middle, one at the beginning, one at the end. That's kind of how it works. And like, yeah, I think, like we said, I don't know. We discussed it earlier. Like Homelander probably has not Homelander. It looks like Butcher might have powers now. We don't really know. He doesn't know. So that will probably play a part in their interactions going forward. And Homelander has kind of, what do you think of Homelander's journey to try and figure out his trauma? Do you buy that he's cured himself now?
No, Homelander's ego feels he's resolved his issues,
Hmm.
but what Homelander has going on is permanent scarring at this point. Um, Homelander can't be.
Homelander
Home,
can't be cured.
he can't. He's like his
Damn, that's
his combination of like narcissism and god complex with actually having godlike powers is
mhm.
just it just I don't know I'm trying to sound like a psychologist, but like um I mean, he's because his physical and actual abilities is here compared to everybody else, to be fair.
Mhm.
The problem is mentally he's not stupid, but he's maybe average or slightly above average. The problem is he deludes himself into thinking so he gets himself a bit in
Well,
over his head.
yeah, I think not mentally, intelligence wise, he's okay. He's like
Mm,
emotional intelligence and emotional maturity that is lower than the average person because, as we see in this episode, they intentionally tried to do that to him, and
yeah.
they like kind of subjugated him mentally to kind of that thing. But by the halfway point of the season, I'm sure this is the exact feeling you expect from a halfway point of a season. To be honest, is like it almost lulls in a way to kind of put everybody at their worst, and then we'll kind of see what happens over the next four episodes and how, like we said, nobody's in a good place right now. Like in general, the probably best person in the best place is probably Homelander because he thinks, quote unquote, that he's cured himself. But everybody is kind of like at their worst. Chemical, Frenchie, Starlight, um, yeah. So maybe Homelander and Sage are probably the best kind of people. Or the deep gets to be sleeping with a black woman, so instead of an octopus. So well done him.
The
Um,
deep and his octopus. Another thing I'm tired of is the deep.
but that appeared this episode.
I know, but it was just like at the back of my head. I was like, well, I guess this is
Um,
somewhat better, even though she literally that mystery we were wondering about last week with
yeah,
I'm kind of glad they quickly solved it because like it was literally like you know when something is just dancing in your head like what the hell is going on?
yeah. What that corkscrew like thing was,
Yeah,
Oh, the
and we
lobotomy.
I
find
was
out
like,
what she uses it for, which still makes me very uncomfortable. Ugh,
Mm.
eyes, man. Anyway, okay. Any final thoughts before we wrap up there? For
um, I'm kind of hoping the second half kind of wows me. I because I still like
Mm.
the season, but I'm just like wow, I like this show. Maybe the initial shock factor of the first season is very hard to replicate.
oh
And it's
yeah,
not
you
like,
can't go in looking for shock factor. It's not you
yeah,
can
I
never
don't
replicate
know. It
that.
really pulled me, but and then um I'm kind of liking A Train, but I'm a bit worried for him. I can't believe I'm slightly worried for A Train, but it kind of feels like death flags for him.
Yeah, I think we agree that he's dying now. I thought
Yeah,
that was like that was a consensus.
I'll be very surprised if he makes it out of the
Mm-hmm.
season, or I don't know, either this season or the next season. Like if he gets to go somewhere and nothing happen, I don't know how I feel because initially I kind of wanted him to go to the place of glory, but honestly, I think I'll be fine if he just disappears forever. I guess.
I support my blacks making it out alive.
I'm
Yeah,
screaming.
I used to like because to be fair, he kind of has end like dying, but you know, he's not a good person, or
No one's a good
or maybe he
person.
just like awakened his. Well, I'll say the closest is probably Huey, and unfortunately, Huey has been too involved in this. I don't think Huey. I think Huey might be the only non-bad person. Genuinely, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think Huey, even though he's had his moments of,
Yeah,
I'll
like
say,
he's done bad things.
yeah, but I think Huey is the only one I can say he's not a terrible
Mm,
person.
I think overall, Annie's a better person than anybody else. But again,
Nah, I'll still
like
give it
with
to
this episode,
Huey.
she's done some things.
I think
Fair.
I'll still give it to Huey. To be fair, I think Huey is probably the most altruistic,
Mm,
and I feel like he's been a general like he's been the moral guiding point of the show for us. Like Annie to a degree too, but I would say who has been um man against all odds type of like, because Hui has no powers, no CIA training, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really fold, which surprises me. Like the sheer insanity of what he goes through. Like obviously he's much darker than he used to be, and he's maybe a little too used to like the insanity. But that's what happens when you delve in such a world. But I would say who is genuinely, I feel like the yeah, Huey and Annie, funny enough, although they're used to the madness of their world now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Newman used to be there for me, and then surprise, surprise.
She
But
blew
yeah.
that right off. Shall I go say
Yeah.
as we leave off? So you get to have one thing. You have to pick one. Would you rather
Hmm.
have
Oh,
an octopus sex scene, as in
what?
again in the season, not in real life,
Okay,
like
okay.
for the season, an octopus sex scene or a human centipede train? You have to pick one. What would you rather see? Say it. Come on.
Luckily, why?
I
Just
kind of
see. I don't
wish.
understand. Answer the
I don't.
question.
Um, but human centipede is disgusting.
Is it
I
though?
feel like I feel like tentacles. That's an actual legitimate category that is currently available. I'm being so dead ass right now.
Jesus
So
Christ.
make of that what you
Where is it
will.
available?
I have no clue.
Okay, we'll discuss more again on Popcorn
Sure.
for Dinner After Dark.
Can I also say though,
Please
sorry,
subscribe. Please say
I
whatever you
do
want to
want
say.
to, regardless of like however the season goes, I do want to shout out to the visual effects people because I feel like every week they just find a way to do something kind
Mm-hmm.
of different. Like I know for was it episode 3, the or 2, whichever one had the ice skating massacre.
Mm-hmm.
For me, one of my legitimate fears with ice skating is literally someone sliding, like skating over my fingers and chopping it off, or getting my neck sliced by a blade. So, shout out to them
Why
for
is that
bringing
even
that to
coming to your
life.
mind?
Because, first of all, it's happened in real life to somebody. Like an actual hockey player has died because I think his neck was slit or some part of his body got sliced during a match. So it's a legitimate fear. And also, ice skates are very sharp. And also, I'm clumsy. So it just seems like a very viable way for me to leave the realm of this world.
Fair.
So
Well,
shout
I
out to
mean,
them.
to be fair, I don't really fuck with ice skates because I'm black. But that being said,
Hmm.
you do you. Well done. Okay, any final thoughts?
No, that's it. Just looking forward to the rest of the season. I hope it gets even gorier. I want to see things I've never seen before. I just want to be wild. I want to be shocked. I want to be amused. Do I want to cry? I don't have any tears left to
Has the
cry, so
boys ever
no.
made you cry? It feels like the
Um,
wrong show to make you cry.
Yeah.
true. But they could do something different. They might
They
touch
could do
on
something
the
different.
emotional. You never know. Maybe if when Butcher dies, maybe I'll cry. Who knows?
That'll be excited to see. Okay. Thank you for listening. Bolu, thank you for flying in.
Oh,
Uh
Bakale, sorry, what
yes.
about you though? Like, what are your own final closing thoughts?
As on the show?
Yeah, no, as in you
I'm enjoying
asked
the
us,
show.
so
I'm enjoying the
okay.
show. I what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm enjoying the show. I think there are some it's not seamless. Some things that I think it's trying to grow, but at the same time lay the groundworks for a final season. So you can see kind of those stretch marks essentially there. And it all depends on how he lands the final few episodes. But I think in the general arc of the story of the show, 5 seasons makes sense. Um,
Mhm.
but like I said last week, I'm not really someone that like I don't look at the beginning and the end. I'm like, oh, there's been no change. I care more about what happens in the middle.
The journey.
And
Word.
yeah, especially for a show like this, just really because like yeah, because without being rude or anything, like this is not a show that it's not a subtle show. I don't not watch. I don't like classify the same show. I don't digest the show the same way I digest other shows, right? Like I don't think
Mm.
the show is on the same level as some other shows. So I kind of approach it on a different curve. And I'm enjoying it. As long as I'm not bored. That's primary thing.
Okay, I'll agree that I'm still quite enjoying it, even though
Yeah.
I seem like super tentative. I think maybe because the boy was like a general highlight.
Mm.
Like anytime I go into like a show watching season or like the boys is a highlight. Like I'm still looking forward to it, but like it's like damn, maybe it's like that when you get bored in marriage or something. Like I'm just not as excited as I used to be. I
Jesus.
don't know, man. The spark is gone. I still
That
like
was
it
not
though.
that was not the analogy I came up. I was
What?
expecting. Do you want to see other people, see other shows?
Maybe that's what I am.
No, I think my thing with a show like this, like, one, as long as I'm not bored. Two, as long as it still makes logical sense. Like, I don't want to, like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. And then three, like, I still think the satire works. I think what it's saying,
Mm.
I mean, like, it's a show that's never pretended to be subtle. So it's not subtle. Like, it's very, this is who we're talking about. This
On the
person is
note,
this
Mm.
person.
yeah.
Homelander is Trump. Homelander is like Vought is, so like all of that is straightforward. And I'm still enjoying it. I'm still appreciating it. So yeah. I start
Fair.
turning, like, for example, I used Walking Dead last week, but I start turning on a show like this when it just stops making sense. I'm just like,
Mm.
that just doesn't make sense. And then I'm just like, okay, I don't care. Once I don't
Yeah.
care about any character, I'm like, okay, then I'm tapped out. But so
Mm.
for now, to use Bolu's analogy, I'm still invested in this marriage. I am still happy about it, and I am not
Lol.
like frowning every time she sends me a message.
I'm screaming.
Um,
What is your answer to the question that you gave me?
what question did I
Yes.
give you?
About which of the scenes I want to see on screen. Let's all be
Oh,
aligned
Well, I know,
together.
actually, I don't know. But what was your answer? Because I know you hated both of them. So what would you rather choose
I
to?
really hate both. I don't know. I think I genuinely hate the human centipede scene more. Like that genuinely actually that thing actually pissed me off when I saw it. Like it genuinely actually got on my nerves. The boys is
Uh,
quite disgusting. I don't know why. Okay, the thing with the
breaking news. Bolu says in its fourth season of The Boys is quite disgusting. Like,
yeah, like the boys has a very unique thing of making anything that happens very unappealing.
mhm.
Anything like obviously not neither are, like appealing in real life, but like
No, but I think
anything.
that's the general conceit of the show. Is like, what
Yeah,
would this be like if it was in
yeah,
the real world? What would Superman be if it was in the
Yeah.
real world?
yeah. I don't think Superman would be this big of a dickhead, to be fair. Like,
But
but
if he was going to be a dickhead, he would be this. Like, it makes sense that a guy that has his powers, like you said, God complex, actually having God powers, could be this kind of dickhead if he didn't have the right upbringing.
I mean, fair enough.
It's not a stretch.
I would say because even the violence, even like the action isn't bad, but like it's very visceral. Like sometimes the violence in the boys makes you want to flinch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I like anytime
Virginia,
even
stop smiling like a psychopath. What was that?
anything even remotely sexual in the boys. I think like it's a general oh brother.
It's not a
Ugh.
romantic show. Yeah, it's not a
Yeah,
romantic show.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Speaking of romance, Victor, Chagosm, to your question, my answer is why not both?
of course that's where you fall in, you sickle.
Oh, I'm joking. Okay, if I'm actually being honest,
I
I
don't
think
think he
I'd
is.
rather
You might
see.
need to get the FBI. You might need to get the FBI to check his hard drive. I don't know, but
No, I think if I was to actually pick, I'd rather see the octopus sex scene again. Like that. That was a lot.
I
That
think
was
that's
a
easier
lot.
for me to forget. I think that's easier for
Yeah.
me to
Yeah, and
like.
it's funnier. It's just funnier because of how Chase Crawford would play it, as
I
opposed to
can't believe
just
this is Nate.
cinemanity.
Whenever I see him, I first think Nate Archibald. I'm just like, damn, how did we get here?
Very talented
Um,
comedic actor. I'll give him that.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay, let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much for
Yes,
listening.
sir.
Thank you guys for
Thank you for
jumping in.
having us.
We're talking about episode 5 next week. Please share with your friends, with your
And your
friends that
enemies and the people you hate. Share with your haters.
yeah, that's fine.
Because
Yeah,
they're bringing
yeah,
hating back.
yeah. Be like be like Firecracker. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Join us next week when I'll be talking more of the boys with Chiago and Bolu, and of course joined by Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.